Friday.
And we are live. Woo! Hello, Jen. Hello, Cripps. Hello, everybody. Hello to everybody who's in the chat already, to Derby Jack, to Andrew, and to White Wolf. Hello. Welcome,
Hello.
welcome, welcome.
Greetings.
Let's hear a little Derby Jack.
Greetings and salutations.
Saturday.
That's right.
Yes. What will you be working on, dear Jen? What's going on in Jen Studios tonight?
I don't know. I'm just sort of like winging it. I'm inspired by
Gonna free ball it tonight. Okay. Yep.
free ball.
I'm
Free ball. There, I've done live streams just called free balling. Yeah, I've done that.
Free ball. I love it.
Welcome everybody. Bienvenidos a Nez Studios. God bless that stream and everybody who watches and lurks and catches that replay. Everyone who shares out the content, leaves whatever thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. Thank you. All the people who show love and support in all the ways that can be done, from prayers and well wishes to donations to purchases and commissions, and on and on and on it goes. Thank you so much, everybody, for just being here. All right. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. Please go ahead, whoever was going to say something. Jesus loves you, so do I, by the way.
I was just singing the free balling song. That's all.
You free balling. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have done streams called free balling. Go look it up.
Wow.
I'm trying to get what I need to paint King Caesar.
I'm trying to get my chat set up because I don't know why I can't chat from the studio or when I'm doing.
Are you still having a time?
Yeah, I didn't want to go to the actual stream because that's what I have been doing, but I suppose that's just what I'm going to have to do. So that's all right.
Well, it's Autumn. Hello, Autumn. I love you, darling. And I know Billy loves you too. How you doing, Autumn? Everybody, you said you're going live in a little while, White Wolf? Okay. If you want to share that link before you leave, White Wolf, you certainly can. We're listening to one of Derby Jack's newest. This is one of Derby's newest. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jen.
I was just saying we're so glad to be here hanging out with you.
Oh, I'm happy to be here hanging out with you, too. And I can't wait till Floyd can join us again. Floyd sends his love and thanks to everybody. Don't forget to go sub Floyd's new channel, Floyd Sings Karaoke. It's in my community post. And if somebody of my moderators can go grab Floyd Bingo's link to his new channel, please and thank you. I would appreciate it. Angie and Rick, Family Adventures. Hello. Welcome. I'm just putting some paint in my paint pan. Jen says she's going to free ball it tonight. We don't know what Jen's going to do. We'll wait for a few people to come in, and then I'll let Cripps start things off with our Talking About Cryptids. We're going to talk about Sasquatch and Dogman and fairies and elves and gnomes and leprechauns and you name it. We're going to talk about it. So, and we can do it from a Christian perspective.
Yes, we can.
So that we can do, and we certainly will. Oh, good, Andrew. That's good. Answered prayer. Don't mind me. Thank you. There's Floyd Bingo's new link. If you sub to him under his Accentuate the Narrative and found out that it's not there, well, yeah, that was purposeful. That wasn't YouTube. Floyd did that all on his own. His new channel, Floyd Sings Karaoke, and the link is in the chat. Thank you, Autumn. There's Bubba News. Hello, Bubba. Talk about them cryptids tonight. We're going to wait for a few minutes and see who else meanders on in. We're listening to Derby Jack, one of his newest. Everybody say hello to one another. Hey, if you're in blue, and most of you are, and you want to put your link in the chat, you can do that. If you want to put the link to your most recent upload, you can do that. If you have a good channel, you want to shout out and share their link, you most certainly may do that. And there's Bowstar. Hello, Bowstar. Hi, honey. Oh, Bowstar, I hope you can make it to my birthday party. If you want to sing, Bowstar, you let me know. We'll squeeze you in. That's our friend from Ireland. He's got one of my paintings. Did a portrait of Bowstar. He's got it in his studio.
Sweet.
Bowstar, meet two of my friends, Jenn, who's doing art, and her husband, Cripps.
Greetings.
I do a talk show with them every Sunday, Bowstar. That's how I know them.
Sunday night,
Say
8
hello
p.m.
to Bowstar.
Eastern
Yes.
Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time. That's right.
Yep.
I'm still getting all my colors put on my paint pan.
We're
Okay.
about at the time to fall. Spring forward. Nope. Fall back rather. Fall back.
Fall back. We're gonna fall back. Yes.
Fall back. Back. That's the ridiculousness of the people that change the times and seasons. And they, in the Farmer's Almanac from early on, they said the reason was because farmers needed to have extra banking time during the harvest to get their crops into the bank so they get paid for their load. But, they've put an end to a lot of farming, and they're actually paying farmers to not farm. So there's no real need
Exactly.
for daylight savings time except to throw people off about what the actual time is and what the actual season
How
is.
God designed everything. Yes.
Mhm.
God's natural calendar that He made. Exactly. Yes.
That's right. So another conspiracy theory by Jason Cripps.
Yay! It's Patty Fish. Hello, Patty. How are you, honey? Good to see you. I'm just putting some color on my paint pan, and I'm about ready to get started here. We'll turn the music down after Derby's done with this one, and we'll get started with our talking about cryptids. If you're a Christian and you're wondering, well, what do you mean by cryptids? I mean creatures like Sasquatch, like Dogman, like fairies, like elves, like leprechauns, brownies, things of that like. Basically anything you've ever seen in a fairy tale. I've come from the point of view after my research and especially listening to Christian researchers like Gary Wayne and his book Genesis 6 Conspiracy. He's come to discover that those creatures are indeed subcategories of Nephilim. And what are Nephilim? Those are the results of the fallen angels breeding with humankind, as well as genetic manipulation, including other forms of life, animal and plant life, and et cetera, et cetera. All kinds of creatures have been made. And my goodness, a lot of them are still around right now. Well, it's Johnny Smallpepper. Hello, Johnny. Good to see you, Johnny.
Good to
Johnny
see you.
was having fun in his stream, hollering me out earlier today. He got a voice changer, and he was sounding like he was gonna kick ass and take names. It was pretty darn funny.
Oh, that's awesome.
Speaking of kicking ass and taking names, let's kick some evil ass and take some names. Let's get that prayer request list out. If you have prayer requests, we are all happy. Me, Jason, and Jen. Happy to pray for you in the name of Jesus. Get your prayer requests to us. You can put them in the chat. You can put them in my comments. You may email me. And if one of my lovely moderators would like to put my information from my description into tonight's chat, well, please and thank you. I would be so grateful. Thank you so much. All right. Well, I turned the music. So, Jason, whenever you want to kick off this discussion about cryptids, you just go right ahead, sir.
Well, you kind of started it, but I'll just agree with everything you said and just add that you said everything in fairy tales. I'll add to that a lot of things in mythology. Yeah, I'm doing air quotes no one can see. But all these stories about Cyclops and Minotaurs and what's the horse thing with the
Centaur?
Yeah. And then they have the Minotaur with the bull's head and the human body. All these things. Now, what I believe is that before the flood, when the fallen angels taught all these things to man took that and ran with it, and they started experimenting and doing all these kinds of things. And I know that in churches and all the time I was growing up, I got the impression that before the flood, they were basically living in huts. I mean, that's the impression you get.
Right.
No one said to me, Jason,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
they were living in huts. In fact, the Bible talks about Cain and other people building cities. Well, these cities that were being built aren't huts. They're cities.
Oh,
but I believe they had technology much similar to what we experience today. And part of that technology was medical technology. It may not have looked exactly the same as our technology today, but they started experimenting with humans and animals, okay, which is what they do now still.
It's exactly what they do now. Exactly.
Correct. And I believe that from the Genesis 6 that Marisa mentioned, the result of that were, as the Bible quotes, there were giants in those times and then after, and they were men of renown. They were people of renown. So we had different classifications of things that were a result of fallen angels sleeping with women. And when they would sleep with a woman, then there was another classification. So when Marisa says there's subcategories or subclassifications of Nephilim, that's exactly what I feel like she means. And correct me if I'm wrong. So
no, you're right on.
So dogmen, Sasquatch, leprechauns, all these things are subcategories brought on by Nephilim and not created by God. That's my opinion. That's my opinion that they're not creations of God. They were from the union.
Right. Hello, Faith. Hello, Krista.
And they
go ahead. Keep on just saying hi to Krista. And
oh, of course, I'm learning. I'm getting used to that. The earth was filled with violence, the Bible says, and they were murdering humans. The giants were murdering humans, and these animal hybrids were murdering humans. And then you just had the regular war between human and hybrid, human and Nephilim, human and giants, et cetera, and God was very displeased. And also there was a genetic reason. I believe that Satan, he doesn't know everything God does, but he knew that God promised there would be a Messiah. And I believe he was trying to pollute the pool of human genetics so that it would be impossible for the Messiah to be born.
Exactly.
It's kind of a side note, but it's an important side note. So
it is. It is an important side note.
Right. So, Jen, did you want to add anything to that? What do you think of what I'm theorizing here?
I hate to say it, my brain was really focused on trying to figure out what I'm drawing.
Well, that's okay. I just wanted
okay.
Can you give me a quick encapsulation of what you just said?
I was saying that before the flood, the kind of characters we're talking about, the cryptids, were a result of genetic mutation and experiments, and also agree. Actually the
hold on just a moment. Let me say hello. I didn't say hello to Bubba News properly. Hi, Bubba. Yes, thank you. Skywatcher Dennis, thank you for coming in. Professional paranormal research. This show should be right up your alley tonight. That's my friend Dustin. Thank you for coming in, sir. Super Dave, good to see you, sir. God bless you. All right, do continue. What's great about this kind of discussion is we can just pick it up and go with it and go with it. Yes, you're really not going to lose your place. Everything's connected to everything. And the main reason why, in my opinion, that mainstream media tells people these things don't exist. They're not real. Science hasn't found them. Well, you know what? I've heard plenty of people accounting different experiences, encounters, and sightings that, a notion of it being a worldwide joke and everyone's lying, Now, come on, you got to be a little bit nutty to think if that's the case. No,
Yeah.
people are seeing things, and because of their nature, because, in my opinion, of them being of a subcategory of Nephilim, pointing back to fallen angels, which point back to God, which
Right.
points to Jesus. That's the last thing that the devil wants people to know. So they keep all of those creatures on the down low, don't they? Has mainstream science acknowledged any of these creatures? Certainly not. Are they going to? Not anytime soon. They will call the men in black if you decide to talk about these things, if you have an encounter. They'll send the men in black sometimes if you have a sighting or whatever. So you see something, I would recommend don't call the cops, for the love of God. Don't do that. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah,
I just kind of went on a little rant there.
It's not a rant at all. No, you're right on task. Jenn, tell people about the website that you came across, because I think that you said some very interesting things. I know you're focused on your art, but what's the website where the guy talks with resonance and frequency? He talks to the Sasquatch or whatever.
Oh, it's Sasquatch Ontario. Have you checked that out, Marisa? That site? I don't know if you have. Anyway, it's called Sasquatch Ontario, and
I've heard of them. Yep, I've heard of them.
So I checked him out like a year ago, and I was sort of skeptical, and I kind of went back down the rabbit hole with his channel. And I'm still kind of what's the word?
On the fence.
On the fence, but he's he has contact with a family of Sasquatch up in Ontario, Canada, out in the cottage home area. That's what they call it. But and he talks about how they live in a completely different level of energy than we do.
Right.
To where they can disappear, reappear.
Right. And it's not magic per se. It's magical in a way because that's natural ability. So I guess you can say it's magic. But the magic is because of where they come from. If you're descended from fallen angelic beings, you're going to have special powers.
Yeah.
And so that's why they can phase in and out, shape shift, do this, do that us regular mortals just can't seem to do.
Right.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there. Hi, Bobby. I love you.
And it's pretty fascinating. He actually has audio of one of them talking, and it's pretty crazy because you can hear him talking to the Sasquatch, and then when it talks, it's so deep, and they talk in their inhale and exhale, supposedly. And it's loud, and you can actually, when it gets really loud, you can hear it echoing, in the distance. It's pretty insane.
Well, yeah, they have huge lungs. They're huge creatures. They're going to have quite a lot to say.
Vocal
I've even heard of some recordings. Thinker Thunker is a good channel who he just analyzes data. He's not out there in the field. Thinker Thunker, that's a good channel. He'll verify how tall things are by scaling it to other things. He just deals in those kind of facts and statistics. But I've heard he'll analyze vocalizations, and he will show you with your own two eyes where these vocalizations fit in the grand scheme of things. It shows you in comparison to human noises, animal noises, etc. And you can see for yourself where they fit on the sound frequency spectrum, as it were. So he has that kind of software. So anyway, I just cut you off here. Wait, hold on. Who am I painting? King Caesar, if anybody is a big fan of the Godzilla movies from back in the day. And I can't exactly move on.
Oh, well, interesting.
It's King Caesar.
Godzilla movies. Godzilla movies, I believe,
last night. Hello, Josephville, Texas. We're talking about those Nephilim cryptids. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, go ahead, Jason. Go ahead.
Well, it just ties into what you're drawing and the picture you showed. I believe that those movies, these giant monsters, are again a nod to the kind of things that were happening at the time. And
they are, and that's why we're doing King Caesar tonight. Absolutely, they're titans. Titans were among the first of the offspring of the fallen angelic order, if I remember Gary Wayne and people like David Carrico who are on Midnight Ride. They've looked into these things themselves, and yeah, so the Titans were the biggest of the big when you
Right.
talk about giants. So
Yeah.
anyway, go ahead.
What I believe, and Jen and I have talked about this, what I believe is the world that God made initially is so much more vibrant and so much more wonderful and imaginative and creative than we could ever imagine. And over time, they
Exactly.
have just dumbed us down. They have covered up everything. They have pulled the wool over
Well,
our
they cut
eyes.
the trees down. They cut down the giant trees.
Well,
For goodness sake.
God, the Bible, or I forget whether it's the Bible or whether it's the book of Enoch, but the God actually had the angels cut some of the trees down before the flood, I believe. And
That's
the
true.
reason
Yes, I believe that.
the reason for that was that so when he did the flood, that these giant creatures couldn't climb up because these trees were huge. And
Yeah.
a lot of these mountains, or these stumps of mountains, they say they're mountains, but they clearly are the stumps of trees, and they're huge. They're huge.
Yes, Skywatch. Yes, they are.
So the topography of the earth was very different than what we see today. There have been, in my opinion,
Exactly.
several cataclysms that have changed the topography of the earth. The first being that I'm aware of was the flood. But other things have
Right.
happened. I'm not sure whether it was God again or whether it was man with wars or people using technology to destroy other people. I don't know. I'm on the fence as to what caused it, but we know, biblically speaking, that the flood was caused by God,
Exactly. Yes.
and He had His
And
reason.
every civilization has record of that flood. They have their own spin on it, but
Yes,
everybody's acknowledged that flood. Yes.
they acknowledge the
Yes.
flood, and the name Noah is similar in all the stories. It's just a different spelling, different language.
Because a different language is going to say it a different way. Exactly.
Correct,
Exactly.
correct. But you're right, Marisa. I'm glad you brought that up because they all tell a similar story. Okay, they have different gods that caused it. They put the name of their own god in the blank there of who caused the flood, but it's the same result. Same result. So the Bible is clear in Genesis 6, as Marisa brought up, that there were these things at that time and then after. So how they existed, there's several different theories about how they survived that. I believe even the earth is not as it's described, obviously. There are some that believe that it's hollow. I'm not saying it's hollow, but I believe there are deep caverns. There are caves all over the place. That's not a conspiracy.
And tunnels, all kinds of tunnel systems. Yeah.
Correct, correct. So they could have gone under there. How did they breathe? I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but we know that some of them survived. So the ones that survived, they have this knowledge and they continue to pass on technology and other things to humans. And they're still doing it today. The alien, what they call aliens, again, there are too many sightings, there are too many experiences that people have for me to believe that it's just something people made up.
Exactly. Can I put your pause button for just a moment? NH girl Krista, she has a baby. Not her. She wasn't one who had the baby, but still acknowledging their baby boy was born Thursday, 5:28 a.m. Eastern. Wasn't it your grandbaby, Krista? I don't know. You tell me who it is. His name is Warren Andrew. Well, love and prayers to the baby.
Wonderful.
So that's cool. Yeah, that's why she went to Florida, because the person having that little baby. So, okay. Again, this is great about these conversations. We can just stop and go and not lose our place. So,
yeah,
please do continue. Jason, go ahead.
Well, I don't want to be the only one talking. I mean, I can do that. I know you guys are busy doing other things, so I'm happy to.
Well, you know me, I jump in when I jump in, so I'm not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do what you need to do.
So, so where are all these things now? I believe that they can shift and they can cloak, and I don't think they want to be found. I would assume that in the past they have made themselves known to people and they have been killed. Probably a lot of them have been killed. I think the government is aware of these things. I think they have kept it under their hats, and their reason for it is the same reason as always. They say that if people knew the truth about these creatures, that they would flip out. But I think
Exactly.
people are more resilient than the government thinks, and I think that telling people the truth, yeah, there are some people that would freak out and flip out and all that, but I would rather know the truth, even if it's scary. I would rather know the truth. So Sasquatch,
Exactly.
dogmen, and all the lore of werewolves, all the
Right.
lore of vampires, and all of that. Now, I'm not
Right.
saying there's a bunch of them anymore, but I believe that all the lore, all the stories are based on some form of reality, in my opinion, and that makes me crazy.
Exactly.
I'm a
That's what the
crazy
world
guy.
says anyway. Hello to Wisconsin, Greg. Thanks for
Wisconsin,
coming in.
Greg.
Bobby, we're talking about all those creatures and cryptids that especially like Sasquatch and dogmen.
Mhm.
The mainstream science is not going to tell you that they're just as much of a creature as bears and squirrels and wolves and this and that. But we're saying that these creatures are real, but they have a fallen angelic origin, and because that points back to God, that's
Yeah.
why they don't want to go public with, yeah, these things are real. That's why people are seeing Sasquatch. That's why people are seeing Dogman Encounters channel is booming,
Yeah.
and he can't keep up with all the people who want to come forward with their experiences. I've heard clergymen and Christians. I've heard people who used to be in the military. Last night's he does a new episode every Friday. Last night he had a cop, and him and his brother, who is also a cop, they had some encounters. So I mean, it happens to all kinds of people all over the earth, and
Yeah.
I'm with you, Jason. I would rather know that these things are real, and you don't need to be afraid of them, but you don't need to be a fool and go out. Well, I'm going to go find one, and I want just leave them be. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of crazy people are tromping around in places they shouldn't be in, and bad things can happen. They're not all good natured. Some of them
No.
are very aggressive, and some of them, from what I've understood from people who've given their accounts on Dogman Encounters, hosted by Vic Cundiff. I got to talk to Vic, by the way, not on the phone, but he emailed me. Anyway, that's another story. But there are people who have been told by the men in black in the military that, yeah, they're well aware that these things exist, and some of them have even been genetically manipulated and modified for God knows what purpose. So yeah, they know. They're aware of it.
Yeah.
Yes, Wisconsin says Sasquatch is in his yard right now. He's referring to that black wooden cutout that he did. It's awesome. So
That's awesome.
do continue. I've got to focus on King Caesar.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I
I've
got it.
also there's a lot of people hearing this and say, well, why is there not a single picture? Why is there not any images of these things? Well, I heard an interesting story by someone that was, having these encounters, and they set up in their deer stand. It was a woman that did this. She set up in her deer stand a number of cameras, and she actually caught one. And it's a pretty harrowing story, but she caught it on her cameras. And then when she went back to look at the footage, it was blurred out. Now, I know this stuff is hard to believe, but her theory was that they can affect technology somehow. And I know that seems far-fetched, but I tend to believe that. So if you ever got a picture of one, you would go to play it back and it would be blurred somehow. There is a video out there somewhere of the blur. You can hear the sounds of the animal, but you can't see anything. and it's just unfortunate that that happens. But um, I think that also anything that the government would get a hold of, Marisa mentioned the Men in Black. They're suppressing that too. So if anyone ever put
Right.
a real picture of one of these things on the internet, it would be immediately scrubbed, as if you're talking about the jab.
And they do. There are pictures out there that I certainly believe to be real, but again, you're going to deal with the blurring. You're going to deal with the lower quality. People can get only what they can get. And but there are pictures out there. I'm not going to say that I've never seen pictures out there that certainly don't ring of, my goodness, what else could that possibly be? I mean,
Right.
you got to see the pictures in context.
Right.
But yeah, they do keep a tight rate on those things, and if you are starting to show stuff a little too clearly, they're going to shut you down, or make life not so pleasant for you.
Well,
Certainly.
yeah, and there's plenty of those stories too, where someone keeps trying to tell other people. I mean, more than just talking on a YouTube channel about your quote unquote experience with Sasquatch or whatever.
Right.
I mean, obviously they allow that because the people just seem crazy. And some of those stories, I don't know that all of them are not true. I think a lot of them are, but they're just like anything else. There are people that tell a story and it's so far-fetched, and you can tell. Usually when I'm listening to a story and they say, I know what time it was because blah, 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 then sometimes I think it's not true. Because if you're telling a story, I don't feel like you need to say that. You need to say, well, I know this happened
Right.
at such and such time because I looked up at the clock or whatever. I mean, that's neither here nor there. I just think that some
Right.
of them I feel like I can tell it's not true. But then there are other stories where I just feel like these people are not lying. These people have had some kind of experience, and there are so many of them. I just can't come to the conclusion that it's all made up, that this many people have seen these
Right.
creatures and it's all made up. And plus, back in the 1800s, there was a lot more of these stories circulating.
And don't forget, speaking of the 1800s, one of our former presidents, Teddy Roosevelt, wrote in one of his books about encountering the Sasquatch. Don't believe me? Look it up. Old Teddy saw one. Anyway, go ahead.
No, you're right. You're right. And so.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah. Yeah. So I believe there are out there, and there's all these, they call it mythology, and obviously there's a reason why they call it that. I mean, you just read mythology and there's all these different creatures, and as Marisa mentioned, Titans. When I was a kid, I loved the movie Clash of the Titans. I've watched it as an adult, and the technology they had back then is just horrible. But I was just fascinated by those stories, and the old movies with the claymation. They're pretty bad. Jason the Argonauts and all these movies. But I believe, just like everything else, as we've talked about before, movies and television are truth in plain sight, and anything you hear on the network news is propaganda and lies. I mean, not anything. I'm sure they put some truth out there. You got to mix it up a little bit and report some things that really happen. But for the most part, in my opinion, that's the way that it works. So they show us things in plain sight, truth in plain sight, and then they try to confuse us with network news. That's just my opinion.
Exactly. I agree with that too. Krista, NH girl, I love you. Love to you. Love to the baby. Love to the baby's mama. God bless you, dear. Thank you for coming in. Okay. And thank you, Dennis, for not one, but 2 likes from you tonight from both your channels. Thank you so much. All right. Please continue, Jason. I've always been fascinated with these kind of creatures. I've always, like I said, like you said, I love the Clash of the Titan videos too. Yeah. And just somewhere inside of me, I always harbored the thought that my God, these things are actually real, aren't they? Or they used to be. That it never
Yeah.
entered my mind that, oh, this is all just nonsense. Blah, blah. And
Right.
I never thought that. I thought they're either still around and just hidden somewhere, or they used to be. And
Yeah.
to come to find out, that both of that is true. Really, if you think about it.
I
Um,
I I agree. And dragons and unicorns, dragons especially, I believe they existed. I believe that they're not made up. I believe they existed, and I believe that they killed a lot of them or most of them, if not all of them. And I don't know why they would kill unicorns, but the Bible even mentions unicorns, and when you bring it up,
Oh, that's a rhinoceros.
that's a rhinoceros, yes, and the translation is nothing like rhinoceros. Oh, that's not a unicorn. That's a rhinoceros because it has the one big horn. Yeah, and even well-meaning Christian folks, they just seem so indoctrinated by the world, and they would prefer to believe so-called science than they would what the Bible actually says. Well, it can't mean an actual unicorn. It can't mean actual dragons. And I think it does. I think they existed.
and I think it does too, especially with dragons, because the if I'm correct me somebody if I am mistaken, but I believe that the fallen angels were of the seraphim order, one of the highest order, and their true form is of a serpent, of lizard-like, reptilian, whatever you want to call it. Go look it up, Google it, challenge me right now, and go ask Google, what do seraphim look like? And you will find the scripture where it tells you thus. That being said, the reason we have the reptilian creatures, as far as like dragons and dinosaurs, etc. I believe the dinosaurs were something that they threw together and made up. And when I say they, I mean the fallen angels. I don't believe God created the dinosaurs, as is all of them. Now Leviathan and Behemoth are their own thing. Certainly, we're not talking about that. But like T-Rex, I don't think God made the T-Rex and said it was good. I don't believe that for 2 seconds. Anyway, but all the dragons, you name a culture on this earth, and you will find in their ancient history, they all have serpentine, reptilian, dragon creatures, beings going on. Go look. It's the same story everywhere. Different characters, different names, different parts of the world, different languages, but it's basically all the same story.
Right.
So,
and
yeah.
on the old maps, so you can still get a hold of these old maps, and on the maps there are certain areas that it has these creatures like in the water, like sea monsters. I believe sea monsters existed. I believe they were well known, and they were feared by sailors. I mean, there's depictions of these old boats and them harpooning and fighting these sea monsters. And there's just too many of them, and there have been some that have washed up on the beach. And I mean, there used to be so many stories of all these things from passed on from generation to generation, and just over time they have just kind of washed history of it, and they make people think that they don't exist. Until now, you seem crazy if you're even wanting to, like we're doing, if you're even wanting to just talk about it. Have I ever seen any of these things? No, I haven't had any kind of experience where I've seen Dogman or Sasquatch or anything, but I don't spend a whole lot of time in the woods. I have gone camping. I have been in the woods before, but I just personally haven't had any experience like that. But can I say definitively that I know for a fact that none of these things exist? No.
Hold on just a moment. Hello to Warren Floyd. Thank you for coming by, Warren. Billy, that's Studio 54. Thank you for my rose. I love you, Billy. There's my Billy. Aw, thank you for coming, Billy. All right, we're talking about Sasquatch and other things, Billy. Came just in time.
A lot of good folks in here.
Yes, lots of good folks. Thank you, everybody, for coming on in.
Dennis and Bobby and Andrew and Warren, and I'm not going to say everybody, but Faith and NH Girl 83, Fames, Super Dave, Skywatcher Dennis.
And Super Dave was in here. Bosar was in here earlier, yeah.
Yeah, welcome everybody. We're so glad that you joined Marisa or Nez Lover's wonderful channel where we're doing art. I'm not doing art, but they're doing art and having what I think is a wonderful conversation. We're just talking about these things openly, and I love it. I just love. When I was a kid, I feel like I had imagination, and I still do. But over time, I think that they just try to take that from you, try to take your imagination. When I grew up, imagination was still something they told people to have. And now I don't hear anyone talk about use your imagination. No, they want to tell you what you need to think and what you need to believe, but it hasn't always been like that. I just think that over time they've changed that a little bit.
Now the only magic they want people to believe in is the magic of Disney. Oh, God. Stupid Disney. Yep.
And that's worse than the truth. The idea of...
That's worse than the truth. Yeah, I know.
Prince and princesses and someone's going to come on their white horse and take you away from all of this. And it just sets people up to fail in relationships, in my opinion.
I think that was the point.
Yeah, good point, Jen. I think it was the point.
Warren Floyd says, I think Sasquatch is a leftover, but humans were way back. That's an interesting hypothesis, and I kind of used to agree with that, but I believe they're still very much around. I don't think they're a thing of the past. I think they've been around a long time, and they're still here. And our personal take here from a Christian perspective is that they come from a subcategory of Nephilim, aka a subcategory of creature originating from fallen angels and mingling of humankind, animal kind. They mixed all kinds of DNA together. That's the big reason why the Great Flood, because the world was absolutely overrun with mixed genetics, making all these horrible creatures.
Yeah.
So... And again, don't believe me, please go read Genesis 6.
Right. And really all of Genesis is good to look at the beginning history and the fact that, biblically speaking, I believe that Adam and Eve, the first people created, were giants. I believe they were very tall, and I believe they were Superman-like. I believe that they could probably run really fast, that it wouldn't tire out like we do.
Right, and it was a different atmosphere then. The air was much purer. We didn't have the pollution in the water and the air and the food and everything. It was a whole different kind of earth than what we see here today. Absolutely.
I think that when they sinned, that began the decay of God's original intention of the way he created things to be.
Right. I believe that too. Hello, Sunny, Stormy, and hello to Sunny and Stormy, your kitties. I'm not sure where Mario and Stella are at. They're hiding. So.
Hello, Sunny, Stormy. Wonderful.
Thanks again, everybody, for coming. We're 43 minutes in, and I appreciate you guys chilling out and having the patience for us to have our little discussion here. We're not trying to convince anybody of anything. We just like to talk about these things. You all can believe whatever you want to believe. We just want the right to believe as we believe and be able to discuss it like calm, civil adults.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, Jason?
That is absolutely right. I am of the mind that you cannot convince anyone of anything. Either someone is going to believe something or they're not. You cannot convince someone of anything.
Right. And everybody finds things out on their own journey of life in their own way, in their own time. Right. I can't make anybody else see anything the way I do specifically because they're not me. And you didn't have my experiences. By that
Right.
same token of logic, I'm not any of you. I don't know what you experienced. So, just be careful when you're listening to people. I mean, you don't know the story from their side. You don't know their perspective. You don't know everything they've been through and what they've learned. At least give them the credit for having their own experiences separate from yours. So, thank you, Bobby. It is interesting. I love you,
That's all.
baby. There's a lot of people who like to just stamp on people who believe anything different from them. And I think that's done out of fear. I really do.
Well, I do too. And my thing is, what difference does it make if we're just having a conversation and someone says, "Hey, I believe that Sasquatch exists," or "I believe that dogmen exist." How does that hurt you? I mean, you might think someone's crazy or whatever, but how does
exactly
how does that hurt you personally if someone believes in things like that? How does it hurt you if someone believes the Earth is not a spinning ball? How does that affect you personally if someone believes that?
Again, it doesn't.
Right.
It certainly doesn't.
Why is it that people
But you've got people...
Go ahead. Yeah, please finish. You've got people, you were saying.
Because I think people want to be competitive. I think they want to play the blame and shame game. I think they would rather stand with the majority of mainstream instead of having an individual thought of their own and consider something outside of the mainstream narrative. I think it takes a lot to consider things for yourself, to do your own critical thinking. Anybody can jump on a bandwagon,
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of scary out there to have your own point of view sometimes.
I agree. And I think in the 1800s, when the usurpers took everything over, I think that they slowly and methodically weeded out anyone that still believed this stuff and that remembered the past civilization that was here before. And part of that, too, was wiping away all the imagination and creativity. And they literally threw people in institutions, loony bins and stuff,
right,
by them talking about it. There was a list, and Jenn will probably remember this, but there was a list somewhere of the kinds of things that would get you into an insane asylum. And the list is ridiculous. It was, women histrionics and women having periods and too much concern about the government, too little concern about the government. I mean, it is just an extensive list of anything that they can point the finger at you. Yeah. Do you remember, Jenn, like what kinds of stuff were on that list? I don't expect you to, but I'm just curious if you...
I'm racking my brain trying to remember.
It's not one of them like women learning to eat or women learning another language, something ridiculous like that.
Right.
I remember
that
list.
And even women
stuff
being a little bit more, like if they showed more interest, like any kind of interest in sex, that would get them thrown into even with their husband, it would get them thrown into a institution.
Yep. So they basically just made this huge list covering a lot of different subjects, and then so they could just grab you and put you in there. And who knows how long you're sequestered away. And I believe that some of those people that were put away, eventually they would recant just so they could get out. And they were afraid to pass these stories on. And then so little by little, they won the battle in indoctrination and making people feel fear. That's what you're saying, Marisa, that you think it's fear. And I agree completely with you on that. There's a fear to talk about these things. And I don't think YouTube cares that we're having this conversation. There are other things you can't talk about on YouTube for sure.
No, but they're listening all the same. The algorithm is listening just to see if we go too far. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Some of these I found the list.
Oh, yeah. Please read something, babe.
I'll read some. So this is from 1864 to 1889. One says kicked in the head by a horse. Let's see. Imaginary female trouble.
Yeah.
Ill treatment by husband. Jeez. Hysteria. Jealousy and religion. Laziness. Masturbation for 30 years. What the heck?
Wow.
Oh, medicine to prevent conception.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Mental excitement, novel reading. That's interesting. Overaction of the mind, overstudy of religion,
Right.
overtaxing mental powers. That's interesting. Parents were cousins. That's a little more understandable. But gosh, they have sex stuff in here quite often. Religious enthusiasm. Gosh,
Right.
that's odd. Asthma. Wow. Bad company. It just says bad company.
Right.
So if you listen to
whiskey.
Bad Company, you get in trouble.
Right.
Bad whiskey. What is that? Bad whiskey. Let's see. Death of sons in war. I guess that means if someone, got really, really grieving and upset. That's horrible, though.
Yeah. Can you imagine your sons die in war and you're sad about it, and they pop you into the loony bin?
Jeez.
Hello, Steen Bean. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream.
Let's see. Yeah,
Let's
stuff
go
like
ahead.
that's interesting. There's some that are understandable, but
Yeah.
some are just weird.
Yeah. So
Shouldn't it be going to the hospital?
right. They made such an extensive list so that they would have a reason in their minds to just throw someone in. And I think that a lot of people that were in there were because they remembered the history and they were trying to tell people, that these things existed, and there were other technologies that existed, and then they just made up these stories. And, the Industrial Revolution, I believe there was some kind of cataclysm, like I said, whether it was something else that God did or whether it was a war of some sort. And I believe that the usurpers, the people in power, they swooped in, and there was all these empty, wonderful, incredible buildings that they cannot create today. They cannot recreate the majesty and the masterpiece of these buildings. They just can't.
Yeah.
And they took over. A lot of them got destroyed and burned. But there are buildings that still exist that have been repurposed, that there's no way they're not continuing to create these buildings, to build these buildings. They don't have the capability of doing it.
Nope.
But they say they do. But
it's too expensive.
Jenn was talking about. Jenn, do you feel up to talking about what you were saying about the way buildings were created as opposed to now? That they're the resonance of a building and the way it was made as opposed to now just four walls and.
Yeah, there's a woman who did a science experiment in a couple of churches that were built. I want to say they were in Europe, and she measured the silence in these churches all four of these churches were built or designed by the same architect, supposedly the same architect. And so she took photographs of water and how the silence, I guess the hertz or the energy of the silence was affecting the water. And a lot of them looked like the rose windows that were in the old church windows.
Mm-hmm.
And it matched, which is really cool. But then when you think about the ornateness in these old buildings and just how skillfully crafted they were, it's almost like the insides of the buildings were even just as much or even more majestic as the outside.
Yeah.
Which, with now, it's like they really pay attention to the outside. The inside's a little more plain.
Right.
Then it got me thinking about the buildings of today. If vibration and, the energy just from the air affects us, which I do think it does. If you think about how air and energy reverberates off of the walls. If it had some effect back then, with the music that was played in the cathedrals, and if the silence even had some kind of design to it, you think about how the air moves around with flat walls and flat ceilings. And I'm not saying I believe this. I just was kind of brainstorming in my head as to how that affects us comparatively to the old buildings that were so incredibly ornate, and the mathematics that went into, the way the ceilings were sculpted, and it's just insane. So it's just an interesting thought that I went on last night as we were talking.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Nez Lover fan page. What a wonderful thing to have.
That's Billy's channel. Sammy Superstar and Billy are the only two who've got a Nez Lover fan page or Nez Lover fan channel. Isn't that sweet?
That's cool.
Yeah.
But I'm going to post the link. Nez Lover fan page. Is that what he's calling it?
Yeah.
All right. There we go. That's Billy. Him and Sammy have a channel devoted to my channel. Isn't that sweet? There it is. I can't share out Billy's shorts on that channel. He's done a lot of cool things for me. Please copy this link or add this link, share it out, sub to it, because I want to support him being supportive of me. And that's very sweet. And I would love more people to know about the Nez Lover fan channel. Not for me, but because of what he's doing. That's a great way to show support. I've made up channels to support people. I've got channels devoted just to Billy that you guys don't even know about, most of you. I'll have to get those put in the chat. But anyway, another time. But yeah, please sub to his Nez Lover fan page. And I would have shown you guys what he's been up to, but the short videos, I can't share them on my community post. YouTube doesn't let you do that. Doesn't let me do that. If you guys can do it, tell me how. But I can only share regular videos. So, but Billy said he'd do a regular video. What?
You can't share shorts?
To my knowledge, I don't think you can. I've tried and tried and tried. The only thing I can share, the regular way where I share it on my community post is what I'm talking about, where I can hit share and it takes me to the where I can press the button and it shows up on my community post. You can share other ways, copy links, go to other applications like Facebook and this and that and da-da-da. But to do it on YouTube on my community post won't let me share out the short videos that way. So I don't know.
That's weird.
Isn't that lovely? So,
of course, that's a fairly new thing, is it not? The YouTube Shorts are trying to compete with TikTok. Is that correct?
They're trying to. Yeah, they're trying to. It's kind of the same thing, really, in some ways. But I think there's more good quality available on YouTube for the shorts than there is on TikTok. TikTok seems to be overrun with people getting naked and shaking their butt and.
Oh, it's more than that. They're crazy over there.
Boobs and blah blah blah.
Oh gosh,
there's be a lot of underage looking people on TikTok, if you ask me.
It's so bad. It is so bad, and you're seeing the paradigm shift in a lot of these people. With all the gender stuff and people.
Claiming to have DID and
you got it, babe. That's exactly what I was going to say. They're claiming they have all these disorders, and if you call anyone out and say you're faking, why are you doing that? Then you get doxxed.
Yeah.
Doxxed.
More thing about the Nez Lover fan page, I asked Billy to do a regular video so I can share that out to more people so they know it exists, and he just said this channel can be a hangout. Well, Billy, I think that's a wonderful idea. In fact, we could collaborate. I could choose to premiere one of my videos on your channel for people who are just, since I don't do the members thing, we could kind of do the thing for people who have subbed to the Nez Lover fan page and do something just for those subscribers. That could be fun, And Billy, you can always do a premiere there if you want. You can also do a live stream there if you want. We could have a meeting over there of people wanting to hang out and talk about art stuff. So, all right, I'm going to stop Yes, I wouldn't anyway, Billy, if I wouldn't be giving your shorts to anybody else, Billy. Let's just say that. Oh my goodness. White Wolf, I will show them your work. Exactly. I will. I haven't done it yet, but I will. Yes, it can be a clubhouse, Billy. Okay, Jason, for the love of God, drive the car. I'm going off the track here.
Oh no, I mean that's what this is. That's what this is. I was just going to ask.
Cesar needs some more work done, so please go on.
Have either of you had any experience with cryptids? Any close encounters of the cryptid?
I believe I've shared with you what happened as far as Dogman. I didn't see them at the time, but they saw me, and I got a picture. And I did email Vic Cundiff of Dogman Encounters, and he was very nice. He's reserving first come to the people who actually saw them, heard them right there in real time.
Sure.
But he still enjoyed hearing from me and talking about my experience. Because it was something to go home and look at the picture, zoom in, and oh my goodness, there it is. Well, no bear. Bears don't have great big yellow eyes. Ears don't look like that. And there was no other explanation for what that could have been.
Yeah.
So, and I wish I had video of everybody I showed that picture to. They all had the same look on their face. Nobody got smart. Nobody lipped off. Nobody made a snarky comment. They all had the same look of, oh my God. I mean, it was great. I wish I could have gotten pictures of people. Looking at that picture. When you realize, even though I didn't see it up close and in person.
Yeah.
Not that I want to, but
oh, sorry. Go ahead, please.
It doesn't affect, because you realize, holy cow, these things are real, and it saw me. How do you feel when that somebody saw you and you didn't see them?
Yeah.
Person or creature or otherwise, there's still that little bit of, whoa, somebody saw me and I didn't see them. Well, yeah.
Right.
So little bit disturbing, but
there's a part of me that would like to have a experience in seeing one. I'm not saying I want to be in their clutches, but I like to be scared. I know it's weird, but I apparently don't like in my dreams to be scared for some reason. But in real life, I like horror movies. I probably shouldn't, but scary stories and things like that. I've just always been fascinated by that, and it's okay if you guys aren't, but I like that. So for me to be out somewhere and to see something coming through the woods and stuff. I don't have a lot of fear of that necessarily, just because I haven't seen anything like that. I like the stories. Jenn got me on.
Hold on just a minute. Derby Jack is leaving. I love you, Derby.
Hey, Derby.
I love you, Derby. You have a good night. Everybody say good night. Sub up to Derby.
Good night, Derby.
I played you right at the beginning, Derby. Derby's uploaded a few new songs. Please go check them out. I shared them in my community post. Love you, Derby. Please. I'll talk to you soon, honey. Okay, go ahead.
And check out Floyd Bingo's
new
channel.
So King Caesar's coming along here. What do you guys think? Caesar coming along?
Oh, nice.
Love it, love it, love it.
There we go. I gotta have a little drink of my iced tea.
Yeah, you know what? I need to grab a drink real quick. If you'll just excuse me for a moment, I'll be right back.
Sure.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
I was going to say, with Jason, I would love to have an encounter. I've like imagined what would happen or how I would react. Probably crap my pants.
Well, I put it this way. We're not supposed to be afraid of these things, but we're not supposed to be going around seeking these things out.
Yeah.
Either.
I would
Especially
agree.
with the mindset of just for your own entertainment. They're really not supposed to be here, but we know why they're here. I would rather see a Sasquatch than a dog man, let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
Just from what I've heard from people telling their experiences. But I've always prayed. I don't know what God's got in store. I pray, you know what, if you mean for me to see one, please let it be a peaceable, safe experience from a distance. That's what I say. Living where I live, of course, people are seeing those things and encountering those things. They have for centuries and centuries. I think having the Great Circle Earthworks here is a great big portal of all kinds of activity. I've experienced more supernatural, cryptozoological, paranormal things than I've ever experienced anywhere else in the world that I've been, other than right here in Newark, Ohio. I saw my first full body apparition here in Newark, Ohio. And when I say that, I mean, poof, there was somebody, and poof, they were gone. Nothing scary, nothing, not looking like a Halloween or nothing like that. Just looked like a cranky old man, kind of Archie Bunkerish, and then kind of gave me the look, and poof, he was gone. And my initial response was, wow, that's different. I've never seen that before. And somebody was with me and sitting next to me, and they saw it too, and they didn't say anything. And I asked that person later, did you see that or not? Was it just me? No, he saw it. So it wasn't just me. I've been inside the Great Circle Earthworks, where you can see, how at Gettysburg, there's like a repeating, like a time loop of the same apparitions. You can see the train of soldiers, following the horses and going into the woods. It kind of plays over and over. That's kind of like what it's like in the Great Circle Earthworks. You can see shadow beings of like what look to be like Native American people and children running amongst the trees. They always start out in one place and run across and go to the other. It's like on a time loop, just like Gettysburg. I can't even begin to tell you all the stuff I've seen and experienced here. Lots of shadow beings, shadow creatures. Yeah. Not here. I think I've only seen one shadow thing here in this apartment, but other places there's more things going on. So, but anyway, let me say hi to Floyd Bingo's brother, David Fitton. David Fitton just had an art show yesterday. Congratulations, David. Pammy Clyde, hey, this is your night to be here. Pammy, tell us your stories. I love you, Pammy. Pammy sees dogmen and squatches on somewhat of a regular basis, the poor lady.
Pammy,
so, yeah.
Clyde.
How you doing, Pammy? What's going on?
I watched Floyd Bingo and David's video the other day following trying to monkey with the Google vehicle. That was hilarious.
That wasn't David. That was another brother of his. But yeah, they were following the Google mobile.
Oh, my apologies.
That was funny.
How many brothers does he have?
He has 3. David, aren't there 4 brothers in total? You and Floyd.
Amazing.
And Alex and Ken? Is that right? I think that's right. There's 4. They were all in a live stream. One of Floyd's live streams once, and I got to meet, be there with all of them. And they have a sister too, Lisa.
Wow.
Lots of people in the family. Sunny, Stormy, I'm glad you're still here.
I just thought it was amusing, that's all.
Yeah, like a shadow creature, like something, real people, but these things just look like the shadow beings don't usually acknowledge you. Again, it's kind of like they just do their thing. They're kind of on a time.
Dog Pammy Klein says dogmen recently trying to lure me ever since it took Bigfoot encounters both since 2010 still now. Wow, Pammy. All right. So I'm sure some people have had these experiences, and again, anytime you try to share them, I mean, Jen, don't you think it's kind of more okay to have or talk about some of the cryptid encounters than it is to talk about the shape of the earth? It's more acceptable. And Jen turned me on to the Sasquatch. What is it? Sasquatch Chronicles. What's the name of that first channel that you shared with me?
Sasquatch Chronicles.
Yeah, Sasquatch Chronicles.
All right. Hello, Ann, the Art of Handmade Dolls and stuff. You just came in just as StreamYards decided to kick me out of my own stream. I'm right here. So everybody say hi to Ann, the Art of Handmade Dolls and stuff. She's done some uploads recently. Beautiful, beautiful work on those dolls. Pammy Clyde says a red-haired 16-foot Bigfoot came 4 foot close to her. They tossed pebbles on your mom's window. On the window, and her mom said, "Your hairy friends are calling you." Yeah. There's a lot of people who give accounts of Sasquatch communicating with them. A lot of people saying that Sasquatch and dogmen both can communicate telepathically. I can't count how many people on Dogmen Encounter were saying something to that effect. Jen knows about Dogman Encounters. Wouldn't you say that was true, Jen?
Yeah.
Nez Lover fan page said Leonard Nimoy covered mysteries the best, and he had a show called In Search Of, and I just love it.
Yes.
It's so comforting. So when I was a kid, that show was on, and that's what they did. They looked at mysteries and things like that, or at least pretended to. But yeah, some of those stories were fascinating. Wow, I hadn't thought about that in years. Thank you for that. In Search Of. Now I'll have to look it up and see if any of the old shows are available on YouTube or something. I don't know. They might be. In Search Of.
Yes,
Wow.
Andrew, we've heard lots of people on Dogman Encounters and other shows where they take people's encounters, and a lot of them have a smell, like wet animal, wet dog, kind of rotten meat, kind of maybe some fecal and urine kind of smell. I mean, because they don't take a shower, they don't have shampoo, they don't wear deodorant and all that stuff. They're going to be pretty all natural. So a lot of them do have, from what I've heard from people's accounts. I know Jen has listened to a lot of encounters and accounts. There's a bit of a smell to them, isn't there, Jen?
Oh yeah, nasty smell.
Oh.
Let's see.
Marisa, do you mind if I tell people about the other channel?
No, go ahead. Jason's going to tell you guys about his other channels, Dr. Sleep and HMSR, a reading channel. He covers scripture. He covers short stories. He invites people who write short stories to submit them to him, and he'll read them for you on his channel. There's also a channel that is dealing with narcissistic abuse, surviving narcissistic abuse, and I'll shut up and let Cripps tell you guys all about that.
Yeah, I just wanted to real quick. I don't want to derail anything or anything like that, but I just wanted to post Out of the Dark. It's a channel where Jen and I are telling people's story of narcissistic abuse. And we've just started the channel not too long ago. We only have 13 subscribers. And I just want to let people know it's there, because I've been working on the Dr. Sleep, but we have 2 stories on there so far. But we're also looking for stories of anyone that has experienced any kind of narcissistic abuse. And I'm going to post the channel now. So if you have any interest in that, or anyone that's been affected by by narcissism, please do us a favor and go over there and subscribe and like and share and all that stuff. But thank you. That's all I'm going to say about it. But thank you for giving me just a second to let people know that we're there. That's all. Thank you.
No problem. Put those links out there. Oh, thank you, Ann. I will check my Instagram. Well, Andrew, probably because you're being a good husband is probably why. And only you can decide when you can't, exist in that dynamic anymore. Do it, Pammy. True. Do it, do it, do it.
I was offered a 200, what is that, 200,000 for my encounters? That's awesome.
Yeah, I believe so.
Whoa.
She's a lady who's had lots of encounters, yes, is our Pammy.
If I was offered 200,000 for any kind of story, I would I would be happy to tell it. And if I do enjoy writing and I can write, but if I couldn't write, I would find a ghostwriter and pay them a little bit of money to help me tell my story for that kind of cha-ching. Plus, I think it needs to get out there. I think that'd be a great idea.
Nez Lover fan page now has 38 subs. Thank you so much. Thank you, Autumn. Let's get it up to 100 subs by the end of the year. Let's see if we can't get that shouted out. Billy, you do actual videos other than shorts. I will promote those. Yes, sir. We'll get more people coming over to the Nez Lover. Thank you so much, Billy. Sunny Stormy, thanks again for coming, honey. Every time we come have a stream, the kitties hide, or I'd put them on camera for you. Oh, go ahead, Jason.
I was just going to say, I love that on this channel that you don't mind people sharing their channels and people support each other. I just love that. I think that's awesome, especially when you're trying to start something new. And I just wanted to remind everyone about our friend Floyd Bingo, who started a new channel. He does lots of different stuff on there, but mainly karaoke and singing and stuff like that. And I really like him and I enjoy his content. So I just wanted to remind people about his channel as well. And
thank you. I love Floyd. We love Floyd Bingo here. And Floyd's new channel is called Floyd Sings Karaoke. Yeah. If someone can pop his link in the stream again, Billy, can you go grab it, or Wisconsin, somebody? And it's also in my community post. Floyd has moved. He's no longer on the East Coast. He's moved inland, and he's in a wonderful small town kind of setting, lots of trees and greenery. He's very happy. He's adjusting, and God willing, we will see him both here in Nez Studios in the stream on panel, as well as him doing his own Friday night bingo when he gets all situated. Say prayers for him, especially for his internet connection. Things are a little bit wonky, but hopefully that will get worked out. I miss him going live. Hello. Hold on, Big Tim. I don't have that one moderated. There, say something else, Big Tim. Thank you, Patty. Thank you for coming in. Pammy, drop me an email. I will teach you how to do it. I will teach you all about dropping them their links. There we go. We got a nice jewel on top of there. Now let's put a little red in those reddish eyes.
Love it.
Jason, let's change the channel on the cryptids for just a moment and go to a different kind of cryptid. Let's talk about the little people. Let's talk about pixies, and let's talk about brownies and things such as that. I have a personal encounter with a few of those things.
Oh.
Most recent, I would say a few years ago when I was still at the house that I was living in with Diana's dad and Diana. I was sitting on the step on the front porch and looking at a pile of wood that he had recently, limbs he'd cut down from a tree. And just, kind of zoning out. and I saw what I would call brownies. If you remember the movie Willow, those tiny
Yes.
little people, I saw like 3 of them,
Whoa.
3 or 4. I think it was only 3, and they were just tiny, tiny. And I didn't dare move because I didn't want to freak them out, and I couldn't go get my camera. I had to just sit there and watch. And they were climbing out of one of the old dead tree limbs that had been hollowed out because it had termites and God knows what. But they came out of there like people would walk out of a tunnel. They walked to the edge of it, and the first 2 jumped from the edge of that to another stick or the ground or something. They just 1 jump, 2 jump. Then the third one got down on their butt. It was what it looked like, and kind of slid down that way. I thought that was hilarious. So yeah. Like the first 2 were like, yeah, that's cool, it's cool, and the other one's like, I'm gonna go on my butt. So yeah, you guys hadn't heard that one before.
That's amazing.
It was amazing.
Yeah, I just don't know much about the little people, but that's pretty amazing. I remember watching Willow when I was younger. I loved that movie.
Yeah, I love that movie too.
Well, there's lots of different kinds of little people, and fairies, for instance. Disney represents them as cute little like Tinkerbell, and Tinkerbell had a little attitude and stuff, but she's not an evil creature. But in Ireland and Scotland, out there in that area, there have been these stories, and they're not friendly.
Thank you, Wisconsin, for sharing Floyd's. Thank you, Billy. Yeah, fairies are not your friends. They're not little pink poofs. They're going to grant you magic wishes. They are They are also of a subcategory of Nephilim. That means they're on Satan's side, not on God's side. They're not going to be your friend. They don't have your best interest in heart.
No,
no, they don't.
No.
So yeah, just
they're part of the lore is that if they have rules that they have to go by. So you can get a fairy to do your bidding, but they also have rules. If you mess up, then they got you. And that's the same thing if you start messing with trying to draw pentagrams and capture a demon or whatever. It's all fun and games until you mess up, and then they have you. So I'm not advising anyone to mess with anything like that, obviously. But same thing with a lot of the lore, the fairies, the brownies, the pixies, and all of that stuff. This whole idea of a wish. Now in the fairy tales, I can't think of the name of it, but they had these, which ones supposedly help you with your shoes? Like there was a shoemaker, and they would come in and
the elves and the shoemaker, yeah,
they would come in and help with all the shoes, and the way the stories are told is they're trying to help the shoemaker, but there's always a little twist in there. Yeah, so they're not our friends. Sirens, I mean, they're not necessarily little people, but it's the same thing. They allegedly would sing this beautiful song, and they make people feel like they're very beautiful, and they would call to ships and dash them against the rocks.
Right.
Same thing with mermen and mermaids.
Exactly. Hello, Weaves World. Thank you for coming in. Oh, go ahead. If I've missed anybody, please pardon me.
Tell me more
even
about
in the land of Ireland. In the land of Ireland, they've got the leprechauns, which are kind of like small dwarf-like, Nephilim subcategory of Nephilim. They're not good. And then I looked into it. There's also something like a leprechaun, not concerned with wearing green and dealing with a pot of gold, but they like to go after people's booze, their wine. You'll find them in wine cellars. They're called cluricans, and they wear blue and red, if I'm not mistaken. Look up cluricon. There's a counterpart for leprechauns and they're called gluricons. So I learned that in my research along the way. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm doing well,
anything
Weaves
about
World. Thank you so much. I've been studying this stuff for a long time. So yeah. Yes, I have.
gotcha.
Well, let's take a moment. Jenn, what are you doing? How you doing? What's going on over there? Let's talk about your art for a minute. What's happening?
So I'm doing a sort of an art piece calligraphy with some evergreen trees and snow coming down with the moon out, and it's the Oh Holy Night with the lyrics.
Beautiful.
So
That is my favorite Christmas song in the world.
Same here.
The lyrics to that, I have been known to hear the one part that's fall to your knees or fall on your knees.
Yeah, I can't even see that part.
Very emotional for me.
Yeah.
The whole idea of that song, repentance and knowing that God is that God loves you and He cares for you, and even though we're sinful beings, there is repentance, there is grace, and that song embodies all of that, and I just love it. So that's very good. Yeah, someone had said in the chat that they couldn't see your drawing, Jenn. Can you take a second and get a little closer? Is that too much to do?
I wish my camera was better, but it's just not. It doesn't want to.
There's Dana. We are the Conscious Evolution. Hello, Dana. Everybody say hi to. We are the Let's have a look, see where we're at. There's the picture of King Caesar. And then there he is right there. We're almost done. Good night, Big Tim. Thank you for being here. Yes, Jason, what now?
I was just going to say, Jenn, that looks great. I can't wait to see what how it looks when you're finished. And I love Maurice's amazing creature. I just am so fascinated by people that can do painting and stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I really
Thanks for coming back in. There's Scully. Hi, Scully. It's Scully, the other author who reads to you. Well, Scully, I got another author who likes to read right here. Don't you write some of your own stuff too, Cripps?
I am going to start doing that because I have in the past.
Oh, you're going to start doing. Okay.
I have done that in the past, and my goal, I didn't want to be that arrogant that I would write my own stories and read them. I mean,
but I told them it's not.
Huh?
I said, but I told you it's not arrogant.
Yeah, right. So I've got to get over that, but I have been asking people to share their stories, and I've been trying to find out a way, and maybe Scully would be so kind as to tell me. I'm doing public domain stories, and there are a lot of stories, but I like more modern stories, and I like stories that people actually wrote. And I know there are channels that somehow they have found a way. There's one that I listen to is Mr. Davis, and I know that some people get them from Reddit, but I just don't know the process. I even joined Reddit, try to figure out how that works, but I just am not having any luck finding fiction stories that people would let me read. So I'm going to start writing my own stories, and Jenn's going to start writing stories, and I'll read those on Dr. Sleep, because I'm going to continue to do the public domain stories and stuff like that, because I do enjoy that. I like having a wide variety of different types of stories on the channel. But I love fiction, written fiction, for more recently. So I guess I'm just at the point where we're going to have to start buckling down and doing that, because I don't have a source for other people's stories yet. So I do have an idea for a story, and I'm not going to give anything away.
Thank you, Warren Floyd, for coming in. Welcome. Thank you, Warren Floyd, for coming in. Welcome for coming in. Warren, I hope you come back and see us sometime. Thank you so much.
I love music.
Scully. Scully, are we still going to read Jaws or what, man? I'm dying to do it. You tell me when, Scully, and we will do it.
Reading
right,
Jaws.
Please go
tell
on.
me more. Tell me more about reading Jaws. What do you mean?
Here, script. We read A Christmas Carol last December, and Scully, you want to do something again, like that, or even just read it again? Count me in. But Scully came up with the idea of reading the screenplay of Jaws, and yeah, I totally want to do that. I think we'll have lots and lots of fun.
I would love to do that. I love reading scripts and stuff on the Nut House on Peanut's channel. I mean, he writes the scripts
Isn't
himself.
that fun?
And they're obviously kind of silly, but I have a lot of fun doing that, and I like the quiz games that he does on that channel too.
Me too, especially the match game. All right, we are the Conscious Evolution. That's Dana. I love you, my dear. He's gonna get off the stream now because he's going back to the house. So, got some wood to cut on the sawmill. Getting ready for winter. Yes. Everybody say good evening to Dana. We are the Conscious Evolution.
Good evening,
Thank
Dana.
You for coming.
Love the channel name. We are the Conscious Evolution. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. What kind of channel does Dana have?
He is very positive. He's all about positive energy.
Okay. Great. I like positive energy better than negative energy.
That's the first thing that comes to mind is how positive he is. And he's musically talented and he's artistically talented.
Oh, so Faith says... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Faith says what?
Peanut is at... Faith says Peanut is at a hotel. He'll be home tomorrow, probably why he's not here tonight.
Oh, okay.
Awesome, awesome.
At a hotel. What kind of hotel, Peanut?
Yeah. What's he up to? What's he doing, Faith? Do you know?
What's he up to? Right.
What's he up
probably
to?
At
What's he up
the
to?
casino. Probably got some kind of big deal going down. He's on a stakeout. I don't know.
So I'm curious
You're
about...
doing a production of Peter Pan soon. Cool, Scully. Yes,
Scully's
Jason,
doing
what?
Peter Pan? Peter Pan? I read that to my nieces and nephews when they were
Scully,
kids.
you need some help with that. Let me know. If I'm allowed to play, I'd love to be a part of it, Scully. If you already got everything taken care of, that's cool too. But if you need some help, Scully, let me know. Always interested in reading with Scully.
I can't do it.
Nobody
only
does
Scully
it like
can.
Scully.
Yeah, only he can do it. Only he can do it.
There we go. There's only one Scully. Yes, I know.
Yeah, I
Thank
like
you,
about
Scully.
him.
Thank you, Scully. Okay, I think we're just about there. I keep saying that, and I keep adding to it, kind of like what Floyd does. Floyd will think that he's done, and then he'll just keep on it going.
Nothing wrong with that. So tell me about brownies, if you would, because I mean, obviously I've heard of them, but I'm not real familiar with what their background is. Brownies.
I don't know, other than them being a subcategory of Nephilim, and they're not friends either. But they're the ones that are much, much smaller. Like I'm talking like anywhere from like that size to a couple of inches. They're just teeny.
Right.
They're just teeny.
Yeah. And yard gnomes, for instance.
Yeah, they're no good. Don't have those.
Right. Don't.
Hello, Tony. Did Tony's Coffee House come in? Hi, Tony. Thanks for coming
Tony's
by,
Coffee
Tony.
House.
We know Tony's Coffee House. Yes.
We do. Love Tony's Coffee House.
Wisconsin, what did you have for dinner, Wisconsin? Greg, I forgot to ask you. Billy, what did you eat?
I love coffee.
Yeah, spiritual support. That's a good way to put that. Exactly.
I love me some coffee.
Black coffee.
Yes, I like coffee too. I might have to make some coffee after my stream.
What kind of coffee do you like? Are you a black coffee or do you
I like it nice and dark. I like it to punch you in the face. What I like.
Yeah.
John Wayne coffee.
Well, John Wayne.
But I do like cream and sugar in it too, but I have sweetener that's not sugar, so
stevia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like stevia. I bake with it, I cook with it, I put it in my coffee, my cereal.
You remember Sweet and Low?
Yeah, you mean the saccharin and aspartame, and that's no good.
Well, they had Sweet and Low, and when I was a kid, and it really is horrible. I mean, it just wasn't good at all. But then they came out with Equal, which was better in my opinion than Sweet and Low. And now I think they have stevia, and that's a better option.
So am I saying it wrong if I say stevia?
No, I'm probably saying it wrong, babe.
I thought it was stevia, but I don't know. I haven't gone to Google Translate. I've got corned beef, Wisconsin. That sounds good.
Oh my gosh!
I like the dark French roast. What now?
Yeah. Oh, I just we keep bumping around, but corned beef. I love corned beef with egg. It is just really, really tasty and wonderful.
Corned beef hash, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a heart attack.
Gotta love some corned beef hash.
Put the egg on there. It just seems like it's not super
I
healthy.
like the coffee I like the really dark French roast, and I like to use my French press. There's no coffee machine here. Why? We've had this lecture on my channel previously many times. You cannot scrub out unless you know how to disassemble and reassemble and get through all of the piping and all of the works in your coffee maker. After about a month of chronic use, you're going to have buildup in there of things that don't make your coffee taste good. It makes it go bleh. I stopped using coffee makers 20 years ago. I've got to have the French press. That way you don't have the inner workings, and it's just all right there. Or one of those old-fashioned percolators. I don't think I've had one since my grandparents have been around. But yeah, stop using those coffee makers, for the love of God, man. You know what you're putting in yourself with all that. And people are like, well, you can wash it out with that coffee machine stuff.
Vinegar.
There's like stuff you can buy to allegedly clean it out. Sorry, but you can do that all you want. There's still mineral deposits and things built up in the piping that, unless you hire little tiny plumbers to scrub out, you're not going to get it out of there. And it's still going to make your coffee taste bad. So, say no to those little stupid machines. Get a French press. Yeah, that sounds good, Scully.
Go ahead, Jen.
Bit of a coffee snob. Little bit of a coffee snob. Yeah.
What were you trying to say, Jen?
I just was saying that's what we use, a French press.
Yeah.
They're much better.
Do you use a French press? Good for you.
Yeah. Just like Marisa was saying, you can take it apart and clean it. It's a miracle that we even survived with the coffee makers. My grandparents, my dad's parents, they were big coffee drinkers, and they had various Mr. Coffee machines over the years. And they used to put white vinegar in them to clean them out. But I agree with you, Marisa. There's no way you can get all the inner workings of it. So it's just a matter of as much coffee as we drank growing up. It's a miracle that we're even alive, I'm sure.
I love you, Faith. You go ahead and unsub. Pay no attention to my channel. I'm a coffee snob. I can't help it, man. I want my coffee to taste good and dark and like it's going to do something. I know people who make coffee so weak you can look through it like it's a cup of tea. There's something wrong. If your coffee's coming out looking like it's a cup of tea, what in the hell is going on?
The coffee that
Come on.
punches you in the
Now.
face.
Really? I've known people who made that weak. It's like you showed a cup of hot water a picture of a brown crayon is about how strong it is. So, yeah, that ain't no good. What are you doing?
I agree with you. I love just black coffee, and there are some of the foo-foo drinks that I have enjoyed, from time to time. What is that you let me taste that one time, Jen, that you like?
It's a white chocolate mocha.
Mocha, yeah, I like it.
Mocha.
Yeah, sometimes I like to treat myself to one of those foo-foo drinks, real sweet drinks, but pretty much coffee, black coffee, and when I'm in a cold area, when I go up to Michigan to visit in the wintertime, a nice cup of hot cocoa, real hot cocoa.
Ooh, the real good kind made with the expensive Dutch cocoa like I have imported from Holland. Oh,
There
baby. Woo! Hello, Okie Grower. Love you. Love Rush. Oh, did you, Tony? Good. If you want me to do that for you, I'd be happy to do that, Tony. Are you commissioning me, or you just want me to do it, or you tell me in the email, Tony, and we will work it out. Whatever you like, sir. Oh, yeah, and I like the iced cafe mocha every once in a while. The biggest one they got, like a barrel of it, just a great big bucket. Yeah. Tony, if you don't, it's cool. I just didn't know if you were commissioning or if you just want me to do it. Either way is fine by me. No problem, Tony. I can still do it no matter what. Don't you worry one iota. I'm trying to pay attention to what I'm doing here and pay attention to the chat. It's a little bit, but I'm happy you guys are here.
I wouldn't be able to do that. Like on TSL, I've learned to watch the chat, but when you're hosting and you're trying to, ask questions and keep track of who answered and who didn't answer and all that stuff, I definitely can't continue to type. Now, if someone else is giving a long answer, which is very rare for you guys, then I might be able to type something quick in the chat and say hello or whatever. But generally, I find it very difficult to concentrate on both myself.
In here.
Thank you so much, Tony. I got you. Don't you worry about it. I will look and see what the picture looks like, and we'll talk about it, and you can tell me if you want me to draw it or if you want me to paint it. The choice is up to you. It's on me, Tony. Don't you worry. Well, I think I'm just about there. I keep finding things to touch up,
Yeah.
But we've had a great talk about cryptids. We could just talk and talk and talk about them.
Oh, we could. I maybe next week I want to put a subject out there because Jen and I are talking about it a lot. But we mentioned a little bit other land, but since then I've watched a video.
Yeah. Did you see that one channel I showed you the link?
Yeah.
That's got it going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about that next week.
I love it.
We'll do that next week. That's a good topic there. We'll talk a little bit about AWAR and
all I want to say leading up to that is that this is what they've done to our imagination. I think it's fascinating, even if it's not true, to think about the possibility of there being other land, other places like this one. And Jen mentioned the possibility of there being portals from one land to the other. And we know that portals exist. We just don't know how to access them, but it's in all the sci-fi and all that stuff. So I'm just saying that I'm very excited to talk about that particular topic. And between now and next Saturday, I'll do some more,
It's an
research.
exciting topic.
Yeah.
It is an exciting topic. I'll make sure to have a few other links to share in the chat, because I think some people need to see some of the maps and things that I know we've seen. I think some other people should have a look-see or a chance to look.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, I think I'm
agree
just.
completely.
How many times have I said I think I'm just about there?
It happens.
I'll probably tweak this a little bit when I'm done, or after the stream. But I don't know. I kind of like it just the way it is. Don't forget, it's time for shameless promotion of my birthday stream coming up October 1st. God willing, we live that long. We'll start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and probably go to midnight. We've got quite a few people we want to squeeze in and give a chance to sing a song or play a song. And I hope that you guys will get a chance to come by. You don't have to stay for the whole darn thing, but I'm thinking there'll be some people that you might want to be there and catch their performance. And I will be doing a promo for that coming up soon. So mark your calendars. October 1st. No, I will not be eating anything gross for PayPal or Super Chats this time around. That was last year. This year is musical birthday. Jen and Jason didn't know me then. They'll have to go. Yeah, go back and look at my birthday stream from last year. You'll have a good laugh at my expense. Go look at that. It's funny.
Well, it won't be. I'm not going to laugh.
The look on my face. Sure, you will. It's funny. It's why I did.
What did you eat? What did you eat?
I called it Satan's candy dish. I had everything in there that I hate. It had Good and Plenty's, which they're not good at all. Black licorice, nasty. I had circus peanuts, which I hate. I had those peppermint old people lozenges that I don't like. I had those damn spice drops. They look like delicious fruity gumdrops, and they are not. Oh man, they're bad. It was all bad. And I took Super Chat and PayPal donations to eat that. Plus, Krista, NH Girl, sent me PayPal to order a. Actually, I think she's the one who ordered it. And she gave me PayPal to eat a pineapple pizza with pineapple on it. And I sat there and I took bites of it on camera. It was gross. Oh, my God.
I mean, I don't like it, but it certainly, there are other things I can think of that are much worse to try than that. But I agree with you that it is a travesty it's a travesty of food justice to put pineapple on a pizza. Just my opinion.
I love it.
That's
okay. See, here's the thing. You can love it.
When the good Lord created pizza, I don't believe for 1 minute that he put pineapple on it. I don't believe it.
I respectfully disagree.
I think it's wrong. I think there's something very wrong.
I respectfully disagree.
Oh, yeah. Aren't you one of the pineapple pizza perverts? We are surrounded. If you're a pineapple
pizza pervert,
surrounded on all sides.
You're at home here because there are many Nez peeps who are self-admitted. There are many studios. I am not one of them. Bobby is, and I think it's a Mandela effect because the Bobby I grew up with wouldn't have touched pineapple pizza with a 10-foot pole. And then when she was here like 2 years ago or a year ago, and I talked to her in person and looked her square in the eye, and I said, "Where do you stand on this pineapple pizza issue?" And she says she likes it. So that's not the Bobby I know. Mandela effect, I say. That's not the Bobby I remember. No. And we'll have a Mandela chat another time. That's another good topic for one of our art and truther talks, but we won't do that tonight.
We'll do that tonight.
There's just so much to talk about in so little time. It's
almost time for well, you should I don't know how long you want to stay on, but I like it when you close with the song.
Time
I'm
for you guys
just putting it out there.
I can't do that tonight, man. My voice is
okay.
still. I wish I could. I'm gonna.
Okay.
I'm just not gonna go there tonight. I don't want to sound like a. Maybe next weekend it will be much better. I've still got the cough and. But I thank you though. I thank you for the request. I thank you for wanting me to sing. I appreciate it. And I miss it. And I'll be getting back to it real soon. Okay, I think King Caesar, my impression of King Caesar is pretty much done. Let's flip this up. Don't forget to love one another, even in dark, creepy times. Don't forget to love those dark, creepy people. They need to love the most. You know, all those negative people and the kind of nasty things to say. They really need it more than anybody. And then pray for one another. And forgive yourself, forgive everybody else, and tell someone you love them before you go to bed tonight.
I love you, Marie.
Sauerkraut on pizza. Greg, what?
I'm willing to try.
Oh, I love you too.
I'm willing to try
There's Caesar
that.
there. And there he is right there. How'd I do? Did I catch him? Did I get old King Caesar? I will do a video showcasing him.
Okay.
After I'm done with the stream.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm putting the link to TSL and just want to remind people that if they would like to come over and visit the three of us tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The link that I just put in is for that channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. And Marisa is a wonderful addition to the panel. Yeah, I'm so glad that she was willing to join us on True Story Live, and it has really, really flourished. And I love her answers and her topics when she does the writing. So for those of you that haven't given that a shot, please do that. It's tomorrow. Jenn will be doing a write-up, and I don't think Glenn's going to be there, at least the last I heard. He's got a lot of stuff going on. For those of you that pray, please pray for Sandra. She has some medical stuff going on. But we had fun, just three of us, the last time, and we will do that again.
I'm looking forward to it. What's our topic? Do we have a topic picked out, or is it a surprise?
Go ahead, Jenn.
It's titled "It's Not Your Fault."
All right, cool. It's not your fault. Well, I'm looking forward to having a great discussion like we always do, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday night on True Story Live. Please come by. We do welcome people to not just come by and observe and hang out and contribute to the chat, but as Jason and Jenn will back me up on, we're welcome to people suggesting topics for the show, for discussion. We deal a lot with toxic people, surviving narcissistic abuse. Certainly we talk about that a lot, and healthy relationships and red flags to look for as far as narcissists are concerned. But we are open to talk about, many things.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to email me, you can do that. If you want to go to True Story Live and contact Cripps or Jenn, and not right now at the moment because Glenn got his hands full, but later down the line, Glenn is also real good to talk to and reach out and give discussion or feedback about the show too. I still think Glenn should do a show, talk to Glenn. I think, that would be a good idea.
I would help him. He should have his own YouTube channel, and that's what it should be. Talk to Glenn, and he can do videos where he gets emails from folks and gives them advice. He'll never do it, but I
know he'll never do it, but I would like to see him do it. I love you guys. # no fear at any time, on or off the tubes. Why? Because we're not given a spirit of fear. but power, love, and a sound mind. Don't let fear motivate you to make any kind of decisions, especially important decisions, particularly important medical decisions. And I think you know perfectly well what I'm saying when I say that. Keep having lots of fun with your art. Jenn and Cripps, if you want to say goodbye to the people.
I do want to say, I was just going to say really quickly, do you remember that song when we were growing up? God has not given us the spirit of fear.
I believe I do.
Yeah, God has not given us the spirit of fear. God hath not given us the spirit of fear. God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. That's all.
That's right.
Good night, everybody. Thank you, Marisa, for letting us talk about alternative topics. I really enjoyed it. Love the artwork, and thank you to everyone in the chat. We love you guys, and we appreciate you. And see some of you tomorrow night on the True Story Live channel. Just thank you for letting me be here. I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You want to say goodnight, dear Jenn?
Yeah, good night, guys. Thanks for being a part of the discussion on cryptids. We didn't get too far down the rabbit hole. Maybe we'll have to do a part 2.
Oh, there'll always be another part. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thanks, Cripps. Thanks, Jenn. And thank you, Billy. I love you. Thank you so much. Love you, Sunny Stormy, and love Sunny and Stormy. Love to Wisconsin. Love to Faith. Love to White Wolf. Love to Derby. Love to Dennis. Love to Anne, who's the Art of Handmade Dolls and stuff. Love to Dana, the Conscious Evolution. And there's just so many, I can't even list them all. How blessed am I? Thank you. So, Dennis, I didn't mean to do that. Uh-oh. In fact, let's go the other way. I hit a wrong button and I deleted Dennis's messages, and I didn't mean to do that. Dennis, I just made you a moderator instead. What in the world did I do? You're Dennis. Dennis, you're a moderator now. I messed up and deleted your message. I didn't mean to, but you're a mod now. So I don't know why. Just my fat fingers.
I've done that before.
Anyway, pardon me, Dennis. I love you. Timed out? Now he's timed out? Oh, for goodness sake. Well, anyway, when he comes back, if he comes back, he'll be a moderator. Dennis, fat fingers, sorry. You're a moderator now. Okay, so that's actually in the chat. All right. I got to go to his channel now and explain, because he's probably wondering, what in the world? I love you guys. Yeah, my famous fat fingers messing up again. God willing, I'll see you guys real soon.
Yes.
And hopefully through Story Live, and hopefully sometime during the week. And let's all say a prayer that I can see you guys at Friday Night Bingo with Floyd Bingo in his new studio. I love you guys. God bless. Thank you for being here. Good night. Watch it take 20 minutes for me to end the stream.
You always say that, but that one time
sometimes it does.
Yeah, that one time I remember.